Hey, Shalom, Shalom. I want to start off source by giving all praise to Yahweh Hashem Shai. Double honor to Apostle GMS and honor to brothers doing the work in truth, more sincerity. Just want to do this one on evolution, to evolve. You look at this word evolve, when it basically comes to end, see meaning to develop by natural processes to a higher state. It's from 1832. Right now, they've been saying that, we all come from Africa for however long. Right, basically saying that Jake is the dark skinned people, mainly in reference to Jake, are the base model and they're the improvement, right? Which isn't so. Right, to look like the so-called black man is to look like to look like Yahweh Shai, to look like the Most High, right? In fact, let me get that. It's Revelation 1, uh, 13, sorry. It says, and in the midst of the 7 candlesticks, one like unto the Son of Man, clothed the garment down to the foot, and girt about the paps with a golden girdle. His head and his hairs were white like wool, right? So as white as snow, right? It says white woolly hair. Right? It says, and his eyes were as a flame of fire, and his feet like unto fine brass, as if they burned in a furnace, and his voice as the sound of many waters. Right? So the point there is his feet like unto fine brass, as if they burned in the furnace. When you burn it, what color does it become? It becomes darker. Right. And his voice as the sound of many waters, the deep voice. When you look at these Edomites, they like, oh, softly, softly spoken. That's more how they speak, right? So to look like this, a dark-skinned man is a blessing, and that is to look like what you call it, Yahweh Shai himself and the Father, right? You also go Songs of Solomon 1 and 5. It says, I am black, but calmly, man. When you read it in the Hebrew, this word but here isn't existence. It's wa, which is and, right? So it says, I am black and beautiful, O you daughters of Jerusalem, as the tents of Kedar, as the curtains of Solomon, right? But he's saying King Solomon was saying he's black, and you can, how do you know? It's not King Solomon. Well, you read Song of Solomon 1 and 1, the Song of Songs, which is Solomon's, right? But yeah, we go into Isaiah 29:16. It says, surely your turning of things upside down shall be esteemed as the potter's clay, right? For shall the work say of him that made it, he may be not, right? Or shall the thing framed say of him that framed it, he had no understanding. Right? So Esau's turned everything upside down. He's made having dark skin undesirable. Whenever when you see Edomites and they come back from holidays, and oh my God, you got such a lovely tan. That's what they always say, right? Or if they didn't get a tan, say, oh, how come you never got a tan? It's something that always comes up whenever an Edomite goes to a hot country, right? But, Esau's trying to say, hey, the Lord didn't have any understanding. Having dark skin, the Lord isn't right. That's not the desirable thing. To look like me, that's desirable when that's just not true, right? Habakkuk 2 and 15 says, woe unto him that giveth his neighbor drink. Right? Basically gives his neighbor all of these false philosophies, and evolution is a false philosophy, because evolution allows Esau to basically say that he's a god when that's just not true. Right, so we get Ezekiel 28, get that from the top. Says, the word of the Lord came again unto me, saying, son of man, say unto the prince of Tyrus, thus saith the Lord power, because thine heart is lifted up, and thou hast said, I am God, I sit in the seat of God, right, in the midst of the seas, yet thou art a man and not God, though thou set thine heart as the heart of the Most High. Right, so Prince Tyrus represents Edom today, and how can we prove that? Because it goes on and says, lifted up. Right, who's more proud than Esau? Right, who's redefining life itself? Esau's doing that. Nobody else is doing that. Right, nobody else has even come close to going that far. Right, it's because thine heart is lifted up, and now I said, I am God. I sit in the seat of God. What's Esau working on hardcore at the moment? AI, artificial intelligence. Right, and this is what evolution allows you to do. Allows you to not give credit to anyone else. Right, where we understand that it's the Most High is would you call it, the one that would you call it, puts anyone on a level. Is this give 50? Is this even the one I want? It says so. 1 Corinthians 3:7 says, so then neither is he that planteth anything, neither he that watereth, but the Most High giveth the increase. Right. So Yahweh is the one. Would you call it? Not Yahweh. Yahweh is the one that gives the increase, man. The Yahweh is the one that would you call it, that gets you on any level. Get that also in 1 Samuel 2. No, this is 1 Samuel 2, and I'm gonna start from verse 6. It says, "The Lord killeth and maketh alive." Right, so it's just the Lord Himself that He decides whether you live or die. So we just talk about how to Him belongeth the issues of life and death. Right, it says, "He bringeth down to the grave and bringeth up. The Lord maketh poor and maketh rich. He bringeth low and lifteth up." Right, He raiseth up the poor out of the dust and lifteth up the beggar from the dunghill, to set them among princes and to make them inherit the throne of glory. For the pillars of the earth are the Lord's, and He hath set the world upon them. Right? So, like I said, getting to the point that it's the Lord that makes a man rich or whatever. And how do you become rich? Become rich with knowledge. And so basically, it's the Lord that gives you the knowledge to do certain things. Right? Scriptures also talk about how Esau was wiser than Daniel. Well, but who did that? The Lord set that up, man. Right, so like I said, this evolution thing it's a whole premise that allows him to basically talk about how he's the Most High, how everything is done from his own will, how he's so smart, right? Not giving credit. Look, what did Oppenheimer say? Oppenheimer said, "I'll become the destroyer of worlds," something to that effect. Right, when you read Isaiah 54:16, scriptures say that it's the Lord that created the smith that bloweth the coals in the fire, representing the nuclear missiles. Right? It says, that puttest thy bottle to him and makes him drunken also, that thou mayest look on their nakedness. Right, so Eastwood's pushed this whole myth of evolution throughout the whole world, and everyone eats it. In fact, if you're not down with it, people look at you funny. People look at you sideways. Right? It's Micah 2. It says, "Woe to them that devise iniquity and work evil upon their beds." Right, and this is iniquity, to say that, we all come from, monkeys and shit, and then you have black people and you have white people. That's iniquity. That's wickedness. Right? Because once again, you're not giving credit to the Creator, and the Creator is Yahweh Hashem Yahushai. Right? It says, that was the point on that. This is Leviticus 13. Well, it says something verse 9. It says, "When the plague of leprosy is in a man, right, then he shall be brought unto the priest, and the priest shall see him, and behold, if the rising be white in the skin, and if it had turned the hair white, and there be a quick raw flesh in the rising, it is an old leprosy in the skin, and the priest shall pronounce him unclean, and shall not shut him up, for he is unclean." Right, so basically, you get people that have patches on their face. That's an unclean leper, right? Because that's leprosy according to the Bible. Now, Esau's going around changing definitions, right? But leprosy according to the Bible is basically having white skin. And it goes on to say, "And if a leprous breaketh out abroad in the skin, and the leprosy cover all the skin of him that hath the plague, from his head even to his foot, whosoever the priest looketh, wheresoever the priest looketh, then the priest shall consider, and behold, if the leprosy have covered all his flesh, he shall pronounce him clean, and hath the plague is all turned white." So you get your albinos, they're clean lepers, right? Because all the all the skin is turned white, as long as they haven't got blonde hair, right? So you go down to verse 30, right? It says, if a man or a woman have a plague upon the head or the beard, then the priest shall see the plague, and behold, if it be inside deeper than the skin, and there be in it a yellow thin hair, then the priest shall pronounce him unclean. It is a dry scour, even the leprosy upon the head or the beard. Right? This is Numbers 12 and 10. It says, "Now the cloud, so basically having blonde, they like to say blondes have fun, blondes have the most fun, blah, 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 blah. Right? Well, in the kingdom, they're going to be the best miners, man. Right? Because that's, like I said, that's nothing to be desirable. That's not desirable at all. Right? It says, and that's leprosy of the hair, according to scriptures. So Numbers 12 and 10 says, "And the cloud departed from off the tabernacle, and behold, Miriam became leprous, white as snow." Right, so to be leprous is to be, to have white, what do you call it, to have white skin. It says, "And Aaron looked up looked upon Miriam, and behold, she was leprous. And Aaron said unto Moses, At last, my Lord, I beseech ye, lay not this sin upon us, wherein we have done foolishly, and wherein we have sinned. Let her not be as one dead, of one whom the flesh is half consumed when he cometh out of his mother's womb. Right, so basically don't, make her look proper, man. She doesn't look right. Right, so according to scripture, to look like the so-called white man is not to look right. Yeah, you got bros that, that look as so-called white man on this side, but that's just the curses, man. Deuteronomy 28 and 64, we shall be scattered amongst the heathen. Right, you got Daniel's 9 and 4, it says, confusion of faces. Right, but then you read First Corinthians, talks about how we shall all be changed when being beamed up into those chariots, right? But yeah, I just wanted to touch on that real quick. Lord's already been edified. Let's say Shalom.